Make sure you guys to stay tuned until the end of the video because Sofia's gonna teach me some of her favorite workout moves to keep in shape. Hello guys, it's Jed or Christina here. Thanks again for tuning in. Today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Sofia Roman. She is a fitness enthusiast. She is a semi-professional basketball player as well as a female entrepreneur who just launched her female line with Trevor Apparel.
Yay!
So, hi Sofia.
Hi, thank you for having me,
Yeah.
Christina. I'm very excited to be here.
Amazing. Sofia, would you mind starting by just giving a little bit more background about yourself and some recent cool works that you've been doing?
Yeah, so I come from a background of sports. I played basketball growing up. Started when I was in 3rd grade, and it grew on me. I played collegiate basketball at Dartmouth, an Ivy League, way out in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And after that, I played semi-professional in the Philippines, which was an amazing experience in itself. So I come from a very basketball background, and I'm very into fitness because of that. So now I work at the NBA. Basketball is a lifestyle, I would say, for me. And I'm also a content creator. I love creating content. I love filmmaking. I love photography. I love just overall being creative. And now I find myself in apparel. So I am the founder of Trevor Sports Apparel Women, which is a women's fitness apparel line that recently started in April, and I'm really excited to start that up and get that going.
Right.
We're very excited about
Congratulations.
it. Thank you so much. I'm actually wearing the top right now.
And I think
And
it's
I love
very
it.
flattering.
Very flattering for women, and that was something I definitely kept in mind when we were creating the piece. And we're very excited about it. A lot of our ambassadors already are wearing it, and they love it too. So it's a really good sign that it's going to be pretty successful.
Okay. I also heard that there's a very interesting background story to why some things in life that brought you into considering to start a line in apparel. Could you just tell us a little bit on that?
Yeah. So it's so funny because I don't really know how I got to do apparel. I mean, there's
you
so
were in
many
sports.
and there's so many different things I feel like in my life that led me to it. There's just small minor things I love to shop. Every girl I feel loves to shop, and I'm into fitness, so I have a lot of leggings. I have a lot of sports bras from different brands, but I think the main thing that led me to it was my experiences. I'm heavy on experiences. I feel like I learn a lot more from someone else's life, someone else's story, or they're a part of their life, and when they share it, I'm just so inspired by it. More so than what you learn in a classroom.
That's true.
And I come from a very high academic background at Dartmouth. You learn. It was a very challenging space.
It's an Ivy League school.
Ivy League. It's very challenging, and then playing basketball there too was really hard to balance both things. So that experience in itself kind of led me to apparel. And I think my experiences at Dartmouth, where I didn't play all 4 years of college basketball, which is not really, it's rare to not play all 4 eligibility years. I was cut from the team the end of my sophomore year going to my junior year because I didn't fit the program that the new college coach wanted in place. So that was really hard for me. And I went through a whole self-identity crisis of what am I going to do with my life now that I don't play basketball? Where's the athlete and student athlete? And
because that was such a big part of your identity.
It was so big. I mean, imagine playing a sport for over 10 years, and that was your ticket into college in a sense, and then losing it. It was so hard on me. But I'm a person of faith, and I believe God closed that door, opened a new one. I understood that I was still Division I caliber. I understood that I'm still really good at basketball, so looked into playing in the Philippines.
Okay.
And my last 2 years of college, I had internship terms. And for 6 months, I spent in the Philippines playing basketball there. And that experience just was the most amazing basketball experience I've ever had in my life. Playing for your country, being a modern-day hero representing the Philippines in different parts of Asia.
Yeah.
And making history with the team.
Mm-hmm.
We made history like 1 year, and
Wow.
like we, for the first time in our women's basketball team, we played in a FIBA tournament. So there are 2 levels in the FIBA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get to level 1, you have to beat level 2, and we ended up being number 1 in level 2.
Wow.
So we're now
Yeah.
in level 1, where we're playing against China and Korea and like Olympic caliber teams. So this is our way to, I guess, to get to the Olympics at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just like really nice to be able to do that with the Philippines, and I love the Philippines so much. I just loved it. So that experience, you know, it taught me that, you know, there are things that are blessings in disguise, and you persevere through one thing, and it leads you to something else that's better. So I would say my experience is playing basketball there, and then also like just tearing my ACL, going through an injury like that, taught me how to persevere, how to be resilient through very, very tough times, and that led me to the apparel.
Okay.
So our motto is, there's a hero in you.
Yeah.
I believe there's a hero in everybody. Everybody has an experience where they've really grinded it out. They persevere through something crazy, and they become stronger from that. And I think that experience in itself is something that they should be proud of, and that is something that should motivate them to inspire others, and like and be stronger from that. So yeah, that's our story. I love it. So
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm very inspired by anyone's experience.
That's actually very inspiring to me, because you mentioned something special about Trevor Apparel that I think a lot of our viewers here, as well as just myself, can kind of relate to, and that was just being able to persevere and kind of grow out of a difficult situation.
Right.
Yeah. And you briefly also mentioned 2 things, I think. One was being cut from the Dartmouth basketball team.
Yes.
As well as like having to move to a totally different country to play professional or semi-professionally.
Yes.
Could you just explain a little bit more about like some things that you felt at the time? Now you feel so much better, but at the time, if you know it was like difficult time for you, what were some things that were just kind of going through your mind during that time?
Yeah. Well, you know, you kind of go through the phases of denial and withdrawal, especially in the moment, in the heat of something very hard like that. You tend to question why it's happening. So questioning why is God putting me through this? Why does it have to be now? What did I do wrong? And it's okay. These are valid. I believe those were valid feelings at the time. But after a while, I realized that I shouldn't be asking those questions. I went through that phase, and now it's time to move on. So for me, it was like, what can I do now? What do I have instead of what did I lose? And so when I started to see it from a different perspective and zoom out for a bit and ask myself what I have, I still had a great education. I still had my friends. I had my family. I also had another opportunity to play in the Philippines. So basketball wasn't done for me yet, and God was saying it wasn't done. It was just like, look here, don't look this way, just look in another direction and see what you have there. And so I was like, okay, I looked, had the opportunity to play in the Philippines, went to the Philippines, and it was honestly just such a great experience. It was like a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me, and I was just so happy to be able to do that at the time, and it was so much better, no offense, than my basketball experience at Dartmouth. So
no
I
offense.
was happy. I'm good.
Yeah, sorry, Dartmouth.
Sorry.
Philippines was better.
Philippines was so much more fun.
What made it like such an enjoyable experience for you?
It was honestly the opportunity to be able to go back to where I came from. So I'm an immigrant. So
You're from the Philippines.
I'm from the Philippines, and I moved here when I was 4. My dad just graduated law school, and you just moved me and my older sister here because there's better opportunity here. So I never went back ever since then. so I've always heard about the Philippines. My grandmother was, my whole family is there besides my parents. So I hear so many great things about it, and I recollect a lot of, like, my grandmother's house, whatever, but I hadn't seen anything since I came here. So I really wanted to go back. I wanted to know where my parents lived. I wanted to know, you know, how they grew up, right? My roots, their roots. Went back, and it just felt like home. Like, it just felt so much like home. I felt so wanted. It felt so fit. I felt like I fit. And on the basketball team too, I felt I was so welcomed by the coach, by the players. The basketball there in the Philippines is really good. It shocked me for a second, and I had to catch myself, because as I was going in, like, hey, I'm a Division I college basketball player, and then all these other players are really good too. I'm like, Filipino basketball players could really ball out. Really? No offense, I'm just saying that. It's a fact. And yeah, no, it was just really great. It was just such a fun experience, learning my culture again, traveling Southeast Asia, traveling to China, learning about different cultures, and just wearing the Philippine jersey on your chest. It's like, you know, it's like pride, you're representing, right? You're representing a country. You're not representing an institution anymore, Sophia. You're representing a country. So I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing experience. I'm just gonna embrace it. And I enjoyed my time.
It's so honorable.
It's such an honorable experience, and to also have that on your resume, to be like, hey, I played semi-professional basketball in the Philippines. That's an experience I can talk about for the rest of my life. So happy I did that.
Amazing. Yeah, that's so cool. I think I can relate to a lot of the things that you were saying, because I also moved to a different country when I was 4.
Right.
Because of my parents' business endeavor. And so I do understand what it feels like to kind of like go back and feel like you kind of immediately belong because of the culture, right?
Yeah.
But I also know that being an immigrant kind of comes with difficulties. And I was hoping that you could share a little bit about your experience as a third culture kid. It's like you're a Filipino, you're American, and you have that Filipino-American culture as well.
Yeah. That's a it's a great question. So I grew up in a Filipino household here in New York, and outside of that, I was pretty much experiencing American culture. So I would say the most interesting time in my life was in high school. So I was really focused, a very focused person in high school, because I really wanted to play basketball in college and play at Ivy League school. So required me to do really well in the classroom, required me to get extra hours in the gym to get better. I knew as an Asian American, not a lot of Asian Americans play basketball, especially women. Like, the percentage is like 1%.
Wow, that's very little.
It's very little compared to the entire, you know, demographic of like women's basketball players, especially Division I. So I knew the odds were against me a little bit, so I had to put in extra effort in the gym. You know, be proactive with coaches too, and sending my highlights, sending an email telling them that I'm interested instead of them just reaching out to me. And so it was tough. Like, it's hard sometimes, you know, when you're not necessarily seen to be, and you have to put in that extra effort to be seen. But it all paid off to me. But, you know, going back on your question about, you know, growing up in a Filipino American here in America, it was a challenge. You know, I wasn't allowed to go to house parties like all my friends.
I was second generation immigrant.
I was like, I had a curfew that was like 10 p.m. I'm like, what is this? You know, and it's funny because like I struggled with that a lot. I struggled with it. I had a boyfriend in senior year of high school. My parents were so hard and strict on that too, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like, all my friends have boyfriends, they go out, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, why? And now I know, I'm just like, it's okay. I lived through that, and I actually really respect how my parents raised me. You know, I could have just been going to house parties every weekend, or I could have been working out, playing basketball, getting better at my game, and then eventually going to a Division I Ivy League college, and that's what I did. And at the time, it was very frustrating. I'm like, why me? Like, why would you do this to me? I'm very, like, I'm a good person. I'm not going to do anything crazy. But it was all, like, a sacrifice, I would say. Like, my parents made sacrifices, and I've had to make sacrifices as well to be where I am today. And so it was tough in the moment, but now it's all really good things that have come up from that.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Also, I know this is kind of a fun fact. Is actually, I know that you founded the women's line at Trevor Apparel. But I know there's another founder who's actually Sofia's boyfriend.
Yeah, Trevor.
Yeah, the name under the brand name Trevor.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. I'm not gonna lie, he's a very great person. He has his own story behind the men's line, and that's very inspiring. He has his own experiences where he's had to persevere through something. Small town kid from Texas, moved here to play football at Columbia, so we both have very similar backgrounds in that sense,
in sports and fitness, and that just like being zoned in, right? Yes, exactly. And also, just wanting to kind of be free from the idea that, from an Ivy League school, you tend to go to a consulting, or you go to finance, or government jobs, or something along those lines. And to be able to see him kind of persevere through that. And he quit his job over a year ago to pursue social media and being an influencer, and being a entrepreneur full time. And it's challenging, but it's also a very rewarding experience. And I see that every experience that we go through, whether good or bad, is something that we always try to keep in mind what we can take out of it. And right now, his story, what led him to Trevor Apparel, is a story of adversity. His quitting his job, going through before that, trying to find one. And those are stories that I feel what make I guess it makes things real. You can buy a fitness apparel product, and they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. If you don't know the story, it's just like you're buying a piece. But we want people to know the story behind it, and I think that's really important. And anyways, Trevor's a great person, and he inspired me to also get into the women's line, and we're both working on it together and building it together, and it's been a very rewarding thing so far.
You think, I think when I see you guys, whether it's online, or I actually met you guys at a networking event.
Yes,
I saw you guys both, and I was like, wow, here's a power couple.
Oh my gosh,
and I was kind of I was kind of intimidated. I didn't know what to say. So I think at the time I asked you guys to go talk to someone else or something. But it was out of my insecurity of oh, this is a power set, a couple, a duo. And I was oh, I'm just by myself. I'm a little person, And that's super exciting that, you guys are romantically, in love with each other, but at the same time have common goal that you're working towards.
Yeah.
What would you say are some things that you find rewarding with that, as well as some challenges that you see, whether it be just on working together with your partner, or even just being a female entrepreneur yourself? Because that's not an easy journey at all.
It's definitely not easy at all. I'm learning that it's definitely not as easy as it seems, and to talk about it is different, but to actually go through something like this is something else. But I would say the most rewarding thing is what you learn as an entrepreneur. As a for me, I'm learning so many things about marketing. I'm learning so many things about how to get people's attention. It's so interesting. And from every little detail to a caption, or a caption on Instagram or Facebook, to an ad that you want to run every day, to the piece of content that you want to portray, like a video or photo, or And then overall, just marketing, just like recruiting ambassadors, or just like if it's not recruiting ambassadors, how are we going to get people, you know, to know to be aware of the brand?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like, our focus isn't really on sales, but just like getting people to believe that the story or understand why we're doing this. And yeah, so that's one of the most rewarding things. And then doing it with Trevor too, it's also really rewarding to be able to work as a unit.
Tag team it.
You know, it gets tough though. Like, to be real, it's really hard to do a business with a partner, a significant other, because, you know, personal gets it gets
Where's
weaved
that
into
balance, right? Yeah.
So, but we every now and then, you know, we'll get into conflict, but like we're gonna try. We always try our best to be very rational about things and communicate clearly. Like, do we really understand the business model? Do we understand the vision? If there's a decision that could teeter that, bring that up and be like, do you think this is a good idea, or something like that? If we do make a decision that's teetering that, be like, let's reassess this for a second. You know, what could have we done better? What did we learn from that experience? And then kind of just reiterate what our business model is and what our vision is. It's, you know, in any business, you know, it's never perfect. People are gonna, you know, make mistakes. People won't know certain things. It's a matter of like teaching and a matter of learning and communicating clearly.
Yeah.
And that also kind of helps our relationship also. So it's all good things. You know, there's little minor hiccups here and there, but that's all part of the cycle of growing.
That's part of the journey. That's the cycle.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I caught you saying that I just found so inspirational was just the ability and the mindset and the openness to learn and grow.
Yes.
Right? I think that's so essential when you're trying to run your own business or trying to do any kind of anything, to be honest. Like, even when you get a new job or you're getting into a new relationship or you're moving or something, whatever it may be, I feel like just having that open mindset to learn and being able to tell yourself, like, I don't know all the answers right now, but I'm gonna go on this journey. I'm gonna embark anyway and just kind of learn as I go.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna become better and better.
Yeah.
Right? Even when there are challenges, you're gonna persevere and you're just gonna get better from that challenges. You're just gonna outdo yourself over and over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's exactly something that I have to repeatedly tell myself sometimes too, because it's so easy to get drowned in the noise of things and try to control every single little thing.
Yeah.
And it's really important to always just kind of be able to zoom out and take the back seat, but not really like take a backseat, but like just be able to like let
seat.
God, the middle seat or the passenger seat, and let God kind of direct you where you need to go. All you can do is what you can do in the moment and what you can do now. Then that's something that I always try to keep in perspective, and just do your best. Really, just try to do your best with what you have.
I wasn't sure if this was going to be a question that I would ask you during this interview, but I feel a little bit more confident and comfortable now because you've mentioned it a couple of times. You mentioned about your faith and you mentioned about God. I just wasn't sure if we would be talking about it during our interview. But if you wouldn't mind, would you just let us know like what God means to you and what that faith journey has been like? Because I feel like some of the viewers, they might have questions or they're just curious or, you know, please elaborate.
Of course, I have constant conversations with God, and I believe God's kind of like a friend to me. Like, in my head, if there's something going on, I'm just like, God, like, what's going on here? Like, I'm so frustrated right now. Why am I here? And I'm not afraid to be like, God, can you please, sometimes it can get too recited. I'm like just very real with him, or I believe it's a he, but I like just tell him what's going on in my life. I believe that my faith has helped me kind of put things in perspective, and that's very key for me, and that's what I'm so thankful for, for that. And It wasn't always like that. I grew up Roman Catholic, so it was a very much more recited thing, where it's like you recite something, but you don't really understand what the scripture is about, what the homily is. And when I got to college, I started going to a non-denominational Christian church, and learned so much about the scripture, and I felt so much more like I understood it. I understood there was a purpose, and it helped me get through. My faith helped me get through my Dartmouth experience, and then now it's just like it's up to me to, it's so easy to kind of go with your friends, but now it's like, okay, you're on your own, and you're going through real life struggle. And for me, I just know that God's always listening to me whenever I need Him, and He's really helping me through some just struggles of just like what's next. There's always something. There's always a beginning and end to something. For example, like my job. I'm trying to figure out what's next after that.
Right?
It's a story.
Yeah.
I believe it's a story, and I'm trying to. And God's helping me stay open.
Okay.
Staying open to opportunities that are coming, and I know they're coming. I just need to wait for them, and just let me just do what I can right now. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is next in the story? Right, in the story of Sofia Roman,
Yeah, I think.
What are some things? Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is really good question. I think what's next is just being patient for me. It's I know there's something coming that's going to be a better experience, I would say, that or is going to be the experience that I need at the time. So whether that's not at my job and a new job, or going full time into Trevor Sports Apparel, because I don't know what's next for it. All I can do is do what I can in the moment. Just telling people why we do it, telling them that we have these products and all that, and seeing what God has in store for me, honestly. So I'm not really sure what it is, but I know it's gonna be a good thing. Yeah.
Wow. I think I've learned so much from you today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the way that you talk about life and about how you deal with the everyday life, or long-term goals, short-term goals. I feel like it's kind of like sports.
It's
like all
sports,
the, like when you're playing basketball, like you see all the players, you see the opportunities, you see your situation right now, and they just try to make the best move.
You
right?
try to make the best with what you have.
But the discipline kind of helps you to have more options.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree. Yes. It's I've learned so much from sports. You just hit the nail on the head about it. So yeah, it's definitely helped.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sofia.
Thank you so much.
I want to tell you guys, please follow Sofia. I'm going to link all of her social media and all the information and contact info on the description box below. Please also make sure to check out Trevor Apparel. The social tag and everything is also going to be available. But they just launched the women's line, which I think is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And then in a little bit,
happy.
we're actually going to be able to, she's going to show me a little bit of her favorite workouts.
Okay.
I need to get toned a little bit.
I'll lead Christina through some one of my favorite ones. So, we'll have fun.
We're so excited to see what God and what life has in store for you in the future.
Thank you.
And I'm just so excited personally to see how you grow and bloom, and all the hard work that you have been putting in for such a long time. I want to see it become fruitful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been amazing. It's been an amazing chat.
We're good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Sofia's gonna show us 3 of her favorite workout exercises, and I'm just super excited because I have been not eating well this weekend, and I need it, honestly.
It happens. Yeah. Everyone has their cheat days or weeks. So one of my favorite things to do, I love using body weight and also kettlebells. So what I usually do, I like to do a lot of as many reps as possible. I'm very into CrossFit and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Isn't that super intense, right?
Yeah. So it's much more of toning than it is carrying heavy weight. So I'll take a weight like this. This might even be a little bit heavy, but if I were to take, let's see, this is a good weight if you're doing a lot of reps.
Okay.
So this is if you want to grab one yourself to
Okay, sure.
grab a smaller one if you want to use
Yes.
this one. Okay, so we hold it right on your chest here. These are goblet squats.
I'm gonna let you do it first so I can see it first.
Sure. So goblet squats are your stance is a little bit wider than your hips. You're just gonna bend down and up. So I like to do this 3 sets of 12.
Okay.
So I'll do this 3 sets of 12, and I try my best to. When you do this, you want to make sure that your heels are on the floor.
Okay.
And when you bend down, that you're not hunching over like this,
Oh,
but
okay.
also sitting back onto your heels. This works your hip flexibility as well as your glutes here. Yeah, so exactly, just like that. When you go down,
Yeah.
try it as much as possible to as if you're sitting on a chair.
Okay.
That's the key. Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm kidding.
It's activating all your muscles in this area.
Okay.
And
I think
also
that might be-
increasing hip flexibility as well. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's my favorite squat workout.
Number 2.
Awesome. So this one is more of an arm workout. So what we're gonna do is grab 5 pounds. So my favorite my favorite arm workout is a bicep curl,
Okay.
and as well as shoulder workouts.
Okay.
So when we do bicep curls, you want your elbows like right at your hips.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do it together, so up and down all the way.
Do you breathe out?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, it's good to practice breathing when you're doing heavy weights. But this is my favorite arm workout, so I'll do 3 sets of 10. And then another thing too that people don't know is that there's different bicep muscles.
Okay.
So this is another bicep curl. This is what we're gonna do, alternating it. So holding it like this.
Mhm.
You're gonna go here,
Ooh,
shoulder,
I've never done this before.
shoulder. Yeah. This works your, keep going. This works your outer bicep right here. So the regular one you do works your main bicep. This works your outer bicep.
And you said it's 3 sets
3 sets of 10 for
3
each.
sets of 10 for each.
So this is my favorite bicep workout.
Amazing.
Yep. And then last but not least, one of my favorite shoulder workouts are shoulder raises. 3 different ways. This is a little bit heavier, but you do 8 of this 3 times.
Oh yeah, that 10 pound. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 pounds is
Yeah,
heavy.
it's heavy.
It gets heavy after a while, and then 8 of these
Are these called flies?
flies.
Okay.
And then when you go, the last one is bent over a bit, flies like this.
Oh. What's the difference between this one and the second fly?
This fly works more of your shoulders.
Okay.
Actually, this one works more of your back, shoulder, where the back and shoulder connect. Yeah, so you actually want to bend down more, as if like you're leaning over like this.
That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in my next video. Once again, this was In the City with Jado or Christina. Ciao!